I coach so many people trying to drop body fat or just get their blood sugar and blood pressure under control by doing a keto diet or a lion diet or carnivore diet, and then it doesn't work. Well, you might be missing this one important thing. Welcome everyone to my very controversial channel. Let's get and dive right into the subject, electrolytes again. The reason why I keep bringing it up is because balancing your minerals is so far beyond our comprehension. The importance of it, where you get it, the quality of it, the balance of your electrolyte minerals. It's crazy because, of course, we all know that you drop a lot of water when you do these low carb diets. You cannot retain the minerals via the kidneys like you would on carbs. Now, that's not necessarily a good thing to eat a bunch of carbs. And a lot of people, like Paul Saladino, will start eating a bunch of fruit to try to hold on to those minerals. But then you have the problem with the fruit and the sugar and the blood sugar. Let's get into the blood sugar. When you guys are not balancing your sodium and potassium, let's go even more down the rabbit hole and talk about salt. Because some people on these diets are just thinking they're going to get their salt from meat. No, ma'am. Or you don't balance your electrolytes. But let's say salt in particular. We need salt, and we need enough salt, especially since our soils are depleted. The animals are depleted. The animals that we consume, the plants, everything's so depleted of minerals. So, wow, how perfectly by design. We need salt. We need enough salt, but we can't have too much potassium because it'll lower our sodium. We can't drink too much water or it'll dilute the sodium, or some people just aren't consuming enough sodium to potassium. And when this happens, you have a hard time regulating cortisol. Cortisol is going to regulate blood sugar. And this is a problem with your adrenals being affected by not balancing your electrolytes. It's crazy. Your adrenals become affected by not balancing your salt and potassium, which then affects insulin. Not consuming enough salt makes your insulin become resistant, which then mismanages your blood sugar. And I see this with clients all the time who don't consume enough salt, or they consume too much potassium and not enough sodium, or they dilute that sodium within the bloodstream. So we're getting confused about blood sugar, blood pressure, high blood pressure, low blood pressure. Now, a lot of people are told to reduce their salt who have high blood pressure. So I have clients who actually are experiencing high blood pressure, and then they do these diets, carnivore or snake or even keto, and some of these gurus will tell them, well, you don't need to consume more salt anyway because you get enough in the meats. But we're not really thinking about the stress today and how cortisol can even deplete the sodium, even if you have enough salt in the body. The stress can deplete the sodium. But if you have high blood pressure and you eat less sodium, now you become more insulin resistant. It's crazy how you become more insulin resistant because now insulin needs sodium to balance, secrete insulin, in as well as insulin being able to be uptaken by the cells. So how do we balance these electrolytes? Because it seems so confusing. Remember, low blood pressure converts into hypoglycemia, low fluid, hypoglycemia. What you got to do is don't overdrink water. Everybody is different, right? I'm 5'3", so I can drink up to 2.5 liters of water. But if I'm 6'3", I'm probably gonna drink up to 3 or 3.5 liters, especially during the summer. And if I'm 5'3", drinking 3.5 liters on a day where I'm mowing the lawn and I'm sweating bullets, that could suffice. But if it's the winter like now, I'm not going to drink 3.5 liters of water because I'm going to dilute the sodium, and then it's going to throw off my electrolytes, period, point blank period. And I might experience heart palpitations or nausea, or can't sleep, or leg cramps, and all of this kind of stuff. Understand how much water you need to take as the individual, depending on your activity level and how much you sweat. Another thing to consider is to balance your sodium and potassium. Now, most people need about a teaspoon of salt a day. If it's the summer and you're sweating out more salt, you might go to a teaspoon and a half. If you begin to consume too much sodium, you're going to deplete potassium, and you're going to have the same symptoms as having too low salt. We don't want to have too much salt, and we don't want to have too low salt, because if we have too little salt, your body will hold on to salt. It'll retain salt. It can make your blood pressure high. It's really quite sensitive, these minerals. Potassium, the 4,700 milligrams, 4,700 milligrams of potassium is absurd. You're not going to get that in food. It's very difficult. That's why we need around a teaspoon of salt and around 1,000 milligrams from food. Potassium, if you can. If you're taking supplemental potassium, well, it gets a little dangerous. It's a little rough on the old liver and kidneys. So we are going to go around 400 milligrams as long as it's not chlorides. If it's bicarbonates, citrates, or gluconate in supplemental form of potassium, you can do 200 in the morning and 200 in the evening. Test it first, because even some people are sensitive to supplemental potassium, and you can't even do 400. So that's very individualized as well. But this is just a very quick video about the importance of salt. You can get potassium in meat broth. You can get sodium, but in meat, in like 4 ounces of meat, you're going to get like 80 milligrams. That's a lot. But that's nothing. That's like dink of salt from a salt shaker. Yeah, pretty interesting. At the end of the day, balance your stress, because stress will deplete sodium. Balance your electrolytes, but really balance your blood sugar. Because it's really the blood sugar that creates the high blood pressure and then the mismanagement of your salt intake. You don't want to develop more insulin resistance and be on this negative feedback loop. Comment below. Are you confused about your electrolytes? Because I could do a part 1 to 20 on this subject. Are you confused? Do you have headaches, heart palps, nausea, diarrhea, tired? Blood sugar, remember, blood sugar goes bonkers if you don't manage your salt. A lot of you guys are thinking that you're going to do these diets and balance your salt. Maybe the reason why your blood sugar won't stabilize on ketogenic and carnivore diets is because you're not balancing your electrolytes. Particularly, again, sodium, salt intake. Salt intake too low, insulin resistance, potassium too high. Yeah, it's confusing. But once you get it and you nail your electrolytes to the individual, you're going to feel fine. Took me like 5 years, but in the beginning. But it's very individualistic, again, towards how active you are. Do you have leaky gut? Are you having a hard time absorbing minerals? Are you depleting minerals? Are you consuming the right kind of minerals? Balancing your minerals? Are you getting any sleep? Comment below. My Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. My Facebook fan page is Stephanie the Business Person. I do offer consultations if you guys feel like you need help. I do also run a course that's only $15 a month where I cover all 3 diets, because not everyone can do a keto diet. Some of you have hypoglycemia or gallbladder issues. Not everyone can even do carbs. Some people feel sick on carnivore. Some people feel better. That's why I do all 3. Comment below. My Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. Facebook fan page is Stephanie the Business Person. And I'm out, because now I gotta edit this. Energy. 57. Going on 58. And 18 years doing this thing. So I've learned a few things. Oh yeah. So funny. The video I did last night about pooping, they're like, "You're wrong." I'm like, okay, how am I wrong? Crickets in the comment section. People get pissed when I push back on carnivore, but I work with too many people who have ill effects from it, and I advocate for them. Peace.